preview of the guest that I have with me today. His name is Robinn Lange, and he's going to talk to us about the top 40 best home-based and live entertainment business opportunities. I thought, you know, with the news being what it is, and with everything that has gone on as of late over the last few weeks, that frankly, I would lighten things up a bit. I don't know how many of you caught me on Sirius XM last night. I guest hosted Patriot Tonight on Sirius XM. I don't know what my schedule is for next week. I usually don't know till Friday what day I'm going to be on the following week. So if I'm going to be on next week, which I usually am, I don't find out till Friday, so I'll let you know. But one of the things that I had the privilege of doing last night was interviewing someone who was a survivor of the Las Vegas shooting. And if you all follow my show, you know I am rarely without words. I have lots of words. But at one point, the producer, if you've ever seen the setup of a radio show, especially in the big leagues like Sirius, you know, the producer and the call screener are literally in another soundproof room, but we're able to message each other. And I'm interviewing, and you don't listen. You know, I do like all this preparation for my show, for my little hour show, but you know, in the big leaguers, when you guest host, literally you go in an hour before and they say, okay, you have this many guests, you have this many people that you're interviewing, this is what it's about, these are the topics you're covering. Sometimes, you know, a couple hours ahead about the topics, but they kind of, especially a news show, they kind of rely on you to be on top of your game and know your stuff. Got to know a little bit about everything or you wouldn't be there, that kind of thing. But anyway, so they told me that I was going to interview a survivor, but I've literally never done anything like that before. So I didn't know what to expect, and honestly did not know what I was going to ask. Oh, but at one point, the producer probably thought I may not have been breathing, and sent me a message, because we can message each other. That's how we communicate on the air. And she messaged me and said, "You can breathe. They won't hear you." Because I think they were paying, because of the type of interview it was and because of the level of intensity. I think they were monitoring my mic and kind of cutting my mic while the guest was talking, and then putting my mic back on when I went to ask a question. And kind of, you know, there's a lot going on behind the scenes in radio, believe it or not. So that's what was going on. But she messaged me, "Hey, Katina." She messaged me and said, you can take a deep breath. They won't hear you if you take a deep breath." Because I think she saw that I was just sitting there, like, very still and listening to this gentleman's account. I'm going to post it because she did send it to me. She sent me the clip so that you all can hear just one of the survivors' accounts, which was just amazing. And then when he was done and we broke, I was just in tears, because it was intense what these people have gone through. So I said that to say, not about me, but that we need to cover all of these people in prayer. We just need to. It's just, and so that's part of the reason why I'm very glad that we have Robinn Lange. Hopefully, just a bit of a lighter topic, our minds off of such negativity, just for a few moments. That's all. So we're going to talk more about Robinn and about what he does in a few minutes. So that's the deal, kiddies. That's what we're going to do in a few minutes. Okay. Anywho, I want to thank the Tax Mama, aka Eva Rosenberg. By the way, her ad buy just ended, and I'm happy to announce that she has re-upped as a sponsor, and we're going to be doing a new ad for her. So I'm excited about that. The new ad should be coming out in another week or two. So I want to thank the Tax Mama for that. And let's see, one other housekeeping item, or maybe two. I have a radio hit on Daybreak USA tomorrow. I'll be commenting on, I don't know, whatever's going on in the news with Angie Austin on conservative talker KLZ 560. So if you're in the airwaves at bright and early at 7:23 in the morning, you can hear me doing that in the morning. And if you want to know who my guests are going to be in advance, you can follow me on Facebook or Twitter at Money Talk Mel on Twitter, or at Money Talk Melanie on Facebook. Tomorrow, I'm going to have the one and only Tom Rotundi, who is a friend of mine, but is involved in we're going to talk about the importance of philanthropy, and he's involved in a great cause. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but the point of the cause is to help kids in Haiti who want to learn be able to study. They don't have, I'm not going to get into the minutia of it, but that's the point of it. That's the point of the cause. And he's a great guy, and he just dispels the myth that conservatives don't have a heart. They have a heart. They just do it with private money. And he happens to be our state committeeman as well, and a good friend of mine. And I'm thrilled that he's going to be a guest on my show tomorrow. He's just a great guy. So anywho, and I love to talk about philanthropy. Just one of my favorite things to talk about, because I think it's important. So that said, we're going to go into a break. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I am your one and only business diva, Melanie Collette, and we will be back shortly.
The plots, plans, and tricks to overthrow America. Hello, I'm Ron Edwards on today's page from the Edwards Notebook. In American society today, to say stuff has hit the fan is an enormous understatement. When I observe everything ranging from Trump-hating, American flag disrespecting, oppressed multimillionaire athletes kneeling, sitting, or remaining in their locker room during the national anthem, or an NFL commissioner who didn't even allow Dallas Cowboy football players to wear patches to honor police officers slain while protecting America and police haters, yet supports anti-flag protests. When I witness the ongoing college campus protests against freedom of expression, unless those speaking hate America and want to overthrow our republic and replace capitalism with communism. When you read about the growing support for bigoted anti-Christian activity while allowing the teaching of Islam in government schools, or the effort to flood our media and public discourse with never-ending complaints about racism, oppression, and Americanism, it is an orchestrated movement by Antifa groups to accomplish a complete doing away with our constitutionally limited form of government. Wake up, America. The enemy is here. I'm Ron Edwards.
Sponsored by the Tri-County Liberty Coalition.
Who likes paying taxes? Nobody. That's why Eva Rosenberg from TaxMama.com wants you to pay less of them. Read Small Business Taxes Made Easy and learn how to set up a business plan that minimizes taxes, the tax benefits of different forms of financing, spot and fix errors in the 1099s, legally increase your deductible expenses with better record-keeping techniques. Don't let the IRS squeeze you out of every penny. Start deducting today. Visit TaxMama.com. TaxMama.com. That's TaxMama with one M.com.
My name is David Barnett, and I've been helping people buy and sell small and medium-sized businesses since 2008. So far this year, I've gone on 5 vacations. It's because I've got my own business. When you get tired of being managed by someone else and you decide that business ownership is right for you without the risk of starting your own unproven enterprise, then come over to businessbuyeradvantage.com. There are over 100 YouTube videos on buying and selling businesses that you can watch for free. That's businessbuyeradvantage.com.
Okay, and we're back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. I am your business diva, Melanie Collette, and I want to thank Mr. David Barnett, who's another one of our sponsors. If you have not done so already, please do. Go check out David Barnett's website, businessbuyeradvantage.com. He also has 2 books that he didn't mention. One is called 21 Stupid Things People Do when trying to buy a business, and another one is called Franchise Warnings. So check those two out when you go to his website. Want to give a few shout outs in the Facey chat: Jody, Michael, Doug, Kevin, Wale, Ricky. Who else is there? Katina, hey, Kenna, Sean, Bobby, Kenneth, anybody else I missed? I'm sorry. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. You guys rock. And now, without further ado, I want to introduce my guest, Robinn Lange. Robinn is considered an expert in many facets of entertainment business. He's appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show, Good Morning America, All My Children. Oh, I miss All My Children. I haven't watched that in ages. On VH1, ABC, CBS, and Fox TV News, many other local and regional TV, radio, and TV shows nationwide. He performs in headlining venues and events nationwide, while also producing his nationally touring game show production. He also hosts his own series of motivational speaking presentations. Today, Robinn spends much of his time educating, training, and consulting entertainers, entertainment business owners, and entrepreneurs through his growing library of resources, home study programs, live training events, and seminars. He has experienced tremendous results, helping countless others receive fantastic success in the entertainment industry. So I thought this was really an interesting topic, something a tad lighter to discuss, and I'm very excited to welcome Robinn Lange. How are you?
I am great, Melanie. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, thank you for being here, and thank you for indulging my bloviating during the open. I appreciate it.
Well, it's very interesting, especially what you did last night with the Vegas Survivor, because being here in Vegas, it's been a really chaotic last few days here. So we're kind of seeing it from the inside as well. And one of the things I have, aside from my business side of the entertainment business, is I am still a performer, and I still own a couple of agencies. And one of our agencies had different people booked at the Harvest Festival. So we were really kind of active in the whole thing that came down a little bit, just making sure our people got out okay and waiting to hear from them. And we had about 20 people working the event, and 2 of them we didn't hear from. One we heard from the next day, and another one not till later that evening. So it was almost 24 hours. So got really crazy, but luckily everybody that works with us got out pretty much unscathed. A few injuries along the way, but it's just been something else. So it was very interesting to hear your experience with that last night as well.
Oh yeah, I'm so glad that everybody got out okay. It was funny because I had just said to the producer when we do about an hour of show prep before we go on air, and I just said to her that on my way there, the studio is in New York City. I live in New Jersey, and I live in South Jersey, so it's a little bit of a travel for me. But I had just said to her that I was driving there and worrying about some very mundane things, as we're wont to do because we're humans. Even the business diva does that. And as I was driving and worrying, a woman had told a story about how she had been shot 4 times and was literally laying on the side of the road and was thinking she was going to die. And I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. And I think she had 4 gunshot wounds in various places. And she was thinking she was going to bleed out. And a cab driver saw her and pulled over and picked her up. And he had passengers in the car. The passengers held their hands over her wounds and talked to her until they got to the hospital. They saved her life. So
isn't that something?
Just all these amazing stories. So, while I'm driving and like I said, worrying about these very mundane things, but before I knew it, like tears were just streaming down my face. And I told her this story once I got there and we were doing show prep. She's like, well, you're not going to like You're not going to like the guest lineup tonight. Tonight, you might want to prepare yourself. So, and listen, it was fine while I was on the air because you have to be a professional. And you just kind of have to do your thing,
Right.
you know. But there's just story after story like that, and it does really put things in perspective. And even the gentleman that told the story that he tells is about how he was in such danger, and he finds himself in a situation where these two girls, you know, he's in danger. He gets himself relatively out of danger, and these two girls are just balled up in a corner, just completely freaked out and crying. And he goes into daddy mode because he's a dad. His daughter wasn't with him, but he goes into daddy mode and starts protecting them. And how as humans we just shift like that, you know.
Yeah, and there's so many stories of different people that did that, and they're calling them all heroes, and you know, one or two of those stories is impressive enough, but then when you see so many of them, and of course they weren't out of the woods either. They didn't know what might or might not happen next. So I mean, it really was very amazing.
Indeed. Absolutely amazing. Okay, I said we weren't going to do heavy today, so let's talk about let's breathe and talk about entertainment, jobs, and fun stuff.
All right, great.
Let's do that. So, is there anything that I left out in your bio that you'd like the audience to know?
No, you know, I've had such a great assorted career that you covered quite a few things in there, so I appreciate that. But out of everything that I've done, you know, one of the things when I got into entertainment when I was 12 years old, back in the days when the family groups were big, the Jackson 5, the Osmonds, you know, and there wasn't a whole lot out there to help people that were interested in being in entertainment or being a performer or an entertainment-based business like an agency or an event planner or a promoter. And very early on, I realized there was nothing out there. So I very fortunately, I got to tap into some minds from some of the greater names in show business at the time, from Steve Allen to George Burns to all different areas of things. And they kind of mentored me. And I remember them telling me, now, there's going to be a point where you can share this and help other people. And for the last 30 years or so, that's what I've been doing. Back in the late 80s, I put together a directory that kind of covered some of the more popular live entertainment jobs or business opportunities or careers. And it was called the Entertainment Career and Business Opportunities Directory. And much in the terms of normal show business, you know, top 40, I thought I would list the top 40 different jobs, career opportunities, businesses that you could start from home that are in the entertainment industry. These years later, I still do that. I update the book every couple of years, and now I specialize in, I go to high schools and colleges and different career job fairs and letting people know about opportunities that exist in live entertainment. And so I expose new people to these opportunities. A lot of creative people that want to perform. And then I also work with a lot of businesses and charities and venues to show them how to utilize live entertainment. It's really an art and a science. And, you know, entertainment is part of everything we do. We think of nightclubs and things like that, but, you know, you go on a cruise ship, there's entertainment. You go to a political fundraiser or rally, there's entertainment. You go to the local community festivals or fairs, there's entertainment. You know, it's really, there's so many possibilities. And years ago, I found out that most people they've all experienced entertainment. I don't care if you were at a wedding where there was a band or a DJ, or you had a clown or a magician for your kid's 6-year-old birthday party. We've all experienced it, but most people don't look at it as, wow, that DJ that's at this wedding is probably making $1,000 for these 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, that's
or that
true.
That kid's magician that's at a birthday party, he's making $300 for his 45-minute show. They don't look at it as in that perspective. So I kind of help bring that to the forefront.
I like that. Now, I'll tell you, one of the things that I really did find intriguing was the home-based aspect of that, because I always think of entertainers, I always think in terms of you're on the road all the time, and I don't know if I'm the only one who thinks that way, but I think a lot of people probably do, right? Like
they do. I think that there's a big void somewhere in our mentality. In other words, we all know the big national celebrities, you know, and you know that they're on the road, and you know that touring is the thing that they want to do. There's the amateur or the local celebrities that just perform locally in the local bars and club scene, or you see them on things like American Idol or America's Got Talent trying to get their break. But you don't realize that there's a whole group in between there too, or the amateur or the local guy. And I remember two things. One, applying for a business loan, and when I went to get my taxes done when I was a teenager, and they ask you what your occupation is, and I said I was an entertainer. And the accountant's tax preparer guy said, "Well, that's not a real profession."
Wow.
So we'll put down self-employed. And of course, when you try to get a car loan or a mortgage, and you tell them you're an entertainer, they just didn't even take it as a legitimate profession. And I thought, my God. Of course, if you were a big name, they do, but they just don't think of it on any other level. So, you know, we've come a long way. Now there's industry resources and unions and associations for, there's clown associations and comedian associations and disc jockey associations and practically everything else you can think of. And it's become much more of a legitimate business. I guess that's the term people use, but really we've been around for a long time. It's just a lot of people don't play, you know, and there are scenes that are local, that are regional, and that are national. So a lot of people don't have to go on the road. I've got people that I mentor and coach as well, and I've got somebody that was a part-time magician while he was doing his main job. I think he was an insurance salesman for probably 35 years, and now he's in his early 60s and he wants to retire. And he and his wife are looking for something to do together, and they are opening an entertainment agency in their town that books, you know, weddings and corporate events and guest speakers and parades and festivals, and they're just loving it. They're just getting going with it. But his knowledge as an entertainer, I think, helped make him kind of go into the event planning and the agency part of things a little easier and smoother for him.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes an awful lot of sense. So what are some types of entertainment careers and businesses that are best among the home-based type businesses? Like what?
Well, what's really interesting, and I should preface this by saying in my career, I have probably made every mistake there is to make, and I've learned from that, and of course, hopefully others can learn from me having to do it so they don't have to experience it. But I remember when my parents were our first managers, and after a couple of years of it, it wasn't their cup of tea, so we were now, by this point, in our late teens, so we had to hire other managers. And long story short, I couldn't find anybody that kind of understood us or that we trusted. So when I got out of high school, I started our own agency in our own local hometown and kind of learned things as I went along. And I remember when I did that, I thought, well, geez, I'm going to need an office or a storefront. So I got an office, and I thought, oh, great, okay, well, I got the furniture in there, I got this nice desk, and all right, now let's put this open sign on the door, and I sat there for a year, and nobody came. You know, it's not the kind of business where if you want to book somebody for your wedding or your kid's graduation, you don't go to the store, the entertainment store, to do this. You know, you basically, for years, you used to look in the yellow pages, and now you look online, and it's all done electronically or over the phone. There is no physical in-person kind of thing to do that. So most entertainers are home-based. The only exception I had was in the late 70s, early 80s, when the disco was big. A lot of bands were kind of put out of business because of these DJs. You know, these clubs and venues were saying, why pay all this money for a 5-piece band when I can get a DJ for less expense and they can play a bigger variety of music?
Right.
So the DJ thing became really popular. So what I started doing was we opened a specialty agency. Our regular agency was full service that handled everything, but we opened a specialty agency that just catered to this disc jockey boom. And we had a video showroom where people could actually come in and see video. And video had just come out, and it was very expensive at the time. But we put all of our DJs on videotape. Most of them were radio personalities, and people could come in and kind of, see their DJ, see our song list and planner, pick who they wanted, and kind of customize their wedding. So other than that one wedding market, very little of what we did required an in-person presence or a physical office or storefront. And nowadays, all of that is done online anyhow. So most of the opportunities are home-based.
It sounds like a lot like the older dating services, where you would go.
Yeah, well, you're putting two things together. You're right. It's very similar, I'm sure.
Right, where you go in and kind of view the videos of your potential matches.
That's right. That's what they were. And everybody would go.
You like.
The difference here, I remember when we were doing all of that, because video was new. MTV hadn't even started yet. Okay, so the whole concept of what do you want us to do? You just go do your regular show and ignore the cameras, and we want to take you in action. So nothing was staged or anything. But of course, people were a little nervous and stuff. Well, I remember those dating sites, though, because everybody was trying to put on their best them. That they looked uncomfortable. Right. They dressed they dressed to impress them. Oh, it was just so awkward.
Well, I would imagine that would be awkward. I mean, how could it not be?
Yeah, exactly. Like the company that we used that did our video also did a video dating company, and he would tell us all these stories of these guys. The producer would be telling them, just be yourself. And none of them, they were all like, well, if I'm myself, I won't find anybody. I've been myself, and I haven't found anybody. So I want to use this opportunity to present myself in a different light.
Wow. Yeah. That's so now, what are some, I guess, some different types of jobs that one can create, I guess, if you will, entertainment jobs that one can take advantage of from home? What would
in the directory, I've kind of broken it down into 7 different sections.
Okay.
In other words, the first section is variety entertainers, which can be your magicians, your stand-up comedians. Stage hypnosis has been hot.
Wow.
Guest speakers, master of ceremonies. Kind of, if there was like a variety show, the acts that you might see in something like that, or perhaps an MC that kind of runs the whole thing. The second would be musical entertainers, which are your disc jockeys and karaoke's and vocalists and solo musicians and bands and smaller groups or combos. Then the third section is kids and family entertainers, which is always popular. It's very funny because one of the questions people ask me is, are there ups and downs in this business, and is it based on the economy? And, well, of course, that affects everything. The one thing that it doesn't affect is, people still get married, kids still have birthday parties, there's still graduations, people still go on vacations, there's still cruise ships. It might slow down a little bit, but a lot of these are there. I mean, the kids' party market and family entertainment has always been popular. So we've got the kids' party hosts and storytellers and face painters and carnival games and amusement rides, and the inflatables are very popular. The jumps,
yes.
Dress-up parties, arts and craft parties, and they even have fashion shows, trunk shows for kids now. So makeover parties. You make the girls into divas and princesses, and the guys into superheroes or macho things. And so that the kids' party market is very strong.
Yeah,
of course, there's your classic kind of things like balloon artists and caricaturists, and we have celebrity impersonators in there, and then we've got a section 5 in the book is for adult entertainers, and it's nothing real bad or anything, but it's more your adult dancers or your strippergrams or adult modeling, and
nothing illegal. You mean?
What was that?
You mean nothing illegal?
No, nothing illegal, and nothing like XXX rated or anything like that. But there are people that like to have.
But not for kids.
A Friends episode where they were having Danny DeVito came in as he was a stripper for Phoebe's bachelorette party.
Okay, that's funny. That's
things like that.
That's just funny.
Yeah. And then then chapter 6 or section 6 is one of the things is it sounds like with everything I just said, oh well, I have to have some kind of talent or skill to do these things. And while some of them are, I mean, if you want to be a concert pianist, you guys have to have talent there,
so.
But a lot of these things can be taught, learned, or acquired. But section 6 really covers some of the behind-the-scenes things where you don't have to be the entertainer. There's some people that say I could never get up in front of people, but they still realize or recognize the opportunities in the entertainment business or industry. So we have things like, being an entertainment agency or an event planner or consultant, a guest speaker, or somebody that produces or promotes events.
Right.
One division of my company produces varietal shows and arts and crafts shows and classic car shows, and there's other kinds of entertainment where you can be just the owner and not do any of the physical performance, or you can have these behind the scenes opportunities as well.
You'd be surprised how much easier it is to get up in front of people than you think. I used to have horrible stage fright. Yeah. Terrible. I mean, when I was a kid, I would audition for plays and then get a call back and not go back. just like silly stuff.
I don't think you're alone.
And then, listen, some of the best actors in the world, I have it on good authority, still have horrible stage fright. I would get starring roles in plays and literally be violently ill before I went out and did the ridiculous stuff. And then when I decided that I was going to be a teacher, I was like, okay, I got to button it down. I take acting classes and I got to get over it, or I'm going to have serious issues. And then that's when I finally kind of got over it. And now, once a week I do Sirius Radio and 30 million people, which, by the way, I didn't know that there were 30 million listeners until a week ago, and I've done it 5 or 6 times. It was like casual conversation. The producer was like, yeah, 30 million. I was like, wait, whoa. Hang on, back up. How many? She's like, oh yeah, you didn't know 30 million? Because, yeah. So I said, actually, no, I didn't know that it was quite that many. No, I didn't. I thought maybe a mil two, not 30. So,
wow.
Yeah. All right. We're up against a break. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. We have Robinn Lange with us this afternoon, and we're talking about entertainment jobs. Robinn, on the other side of the break, I want to talk about entertainment scams. I would imagine there are tons of them out there, and people who are looking for jobs in entertainment, specifically home-based jobs, I would think could easily be victims of entertainment scams. So on the other side of the break, I'd like for you to talk to us a bit about that, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, great. We'll be back in a couple of moments.
Power brokers use corrupt politicians, deceptive Islam, and lies from establishment media to turn the once shining city on a hill into the city of the blind. What do the elites fear? One man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me at SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Spreaker, iTunes, and YouTube for a different kind of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
Hello, I'm Tim Hart. I'm the guy BZ hires due to his shameless contract with the SHR Media Network to voice his promos. He'd like me to tell you that the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be found on SHR Media Network, Spreaker, and YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American media maggots won't. You'll find that the speech is free, but the drinks are not. There, in the saloon, just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ is sending his personal drones of freedom into the wheelhouses and ossicles of lovers of sovereignty and liberty nationally and globally. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, BZ swears that no rights were harmed in the making of this promo.
From the war front to the streets of our nation's capital, men of faith, Dr. Michael Jones, the underground professor, and Kenneth McClinton, the exceptional conservative, bring both constitutional gravitas and spiritual perspective on today's issues to the most influential Christian urban talk show, 9:05 p.m. Eastern, Thursdays. It's a new day on New Day, Black and Red.
Okay, we are back. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. This is your business diva, Melanie Collette. I have to give a shout out to additional folks who have joined the Facey chat since the last break. Jay, Jerry, Robert, Joseph, Jim Alex, who is a former classmate of mine, recent. We just graduated like 10 years ago, right? Anyway, I had to give a shout out to Jim Alex. Say hi to him. My bud from high school. Anyway, we are with Robinn Lange, who's talking to us about entertainment jobs. You guys might be going, you have recently, and Robinn, just so you know, I don't know, I'm sure you were probably like, who the heck is Melanie, Money Talk with Melanie, when I emailed you the media request. I'm probably not familiar with my show, but over the last few days, I've had an ex-counterterrorism CIA agent on my show.
Oh my.
Yeah. Okay. A cryptocurrency expert. Yeah. So this is like the kind of guests I've had like the last few days. So when I say I'm lightening things up a smidge.
I see your point. Okay.
Do you see what so I don't want my listeners and people who are watching me on Facebook to be like, wow. And listen, I do have entertainment guests, all different types of. Next week I'm going to have a homeschooling mom talking about homeschooling your kids in the public education system, which is a big part of the economy, a big part of your taxes and things like that. So obviously that has a lot to do with money and public policy. And I'm going to talk to her about, the options of being an entrepreneur and also teaching your kids at home. So I don't always have super duper intense guests on, but this week it's been like super way intense. So
you have good range, I must say then.
I absolutely love the fact that I'm able to one thing about money, it like touches everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that's the thing. But yeah, I have a girlfriend named Michelle Assad who was an undercover counterterrorism agent. We have the same publicist. So she's a friend.
Wow, that's intriguing.
Yeah. And here's the thing, when you're a woman and you are undercover in the Middle East, not exactly easy, just saying.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had her on, right after the thing happened in Vegas. And, we're talking about, the counterterrorism budget and protecting yourself in security situations. So things have been a little intense on Money Talk with Melanie here recently, is all I'm saying. It's been a little tense. So I figured we'd lighten things up and talk about jobs.
All right.
A little bit. So
Some jobs.
Yes, indeed. So let's talk about the people who are soliciting. People want to be in the entertainment industry, and there are tons of us, right? And possible scams that might be associated with that.
Well, I think as far as scams go, I tend to hear about them and experience them in two areas specifically. One has been, the one thing when you're in entertainment, like I say, other than the behind-the-scenes jobs or just where you can just own and operate it, and that's one of the beauties of it is if you're not an entertainer or you have no talent or you couldn't get in front of people, there are many opportunities that you can do, like I said, an agency or event planner or producer, where you can contract entertainers to do things for you, to do jobs or bookings or events or shows for you. And, you know, most people, and this is something I think people overlook, most people that are artists of any kind, entertainers, performers, they come from a creative mentality. I mean, they're the creative types, they're artistic, and in some ways, they aren't always the best business personalities because their focus is more artistic or creative. Now, over the years, I've worked with a lot of them and showed them how you can take that artistic and creative into the business side of things, where rather than be something that's dreaded or they can't do well, same approach. And it's worlds of opportunities have come up there. But the problem is because we're artists, we want to focus on the performance. Right. And a lot of times they don't commit to the business. I mean, in an ideal situation, in a craft, say you were learning magic, you got a magic set for your 7th birthday, and when you got to be 16 or 17, you decide, I'd like to do this for income. Technically, what they start doing is working on their or whatever, but they don't, and then once that's ready, then they start looking at, well, what do I got to do to get bookings now? What do I got to do to make money with this? And then they start looking at the business side, where in reality, they should be working on both simultaneously, so they're both ready to go at the same time. That mindset that a lot of performers focus on the performance more than the actual business, which is where money is made and success is made. There are a lot of scams that kind of come up to prey on entertainers as far as helping them to get business or bookings. And one of the areas that I see it a lot in is modeling, where they'll say, you know, they'll do a model search or a talent search, or they'll go to different towns and host a fashion show or a discovery, you know, where you could be discovered or something. Talent agents are coming through town, and you pay X amount to get into the event, and then you may or may not be discovered. And then once you're in there, they tell you, oh, well, you have, quote unquote, the look, have a lot of experience in this, and we have a school, or we have a course, or we have a book, or we have an agency. And then you have to pay to be part of these kind of things. Right. And I don't want to say they're all scams, because there have been for decades legitimate modeling schools and things like that. So, but of course, when something like that exists, there's always somebody that looks at it as an opportunity, and so that's one of the things. And then we see the same thing with entertainers in the sense of because of the popularity of America's Got Talent, American Idol, and The Voice, these competition shows are popular now. And I'm seeing some people starting to do these locally and regionally, where there's a major entrance fee, and then once you get in, you know, oh, we think you've got some natural talent, and we'd like to offer you a development contract. And one of the things we suggest is that you have to pay to whatever it may be represented in our agency, or to shoot with our photographers, or, you know, whatever it is. So those are the ones that I see or hear about the most. I only kind of keep up on them just so I'm aware, because when I coach, train, or work with other business owners or performers, that I can look out for them and let them know, because sometimes they'll come to me and say, hey, is this something that I should do? And and you know, anytime that you have to pay for something like that, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying that should at least make you look a little closer and think twice, especially if it's $3,000 or $5,000, because, you know, you don't need that to get started. There are ways, and that's why I have some of the books that I have and courses and things to show people how you can do that right in your area without having to worry about getting scammed or being taken advantage of. That's a great resource, because you're right. There are tons of people that will take advantage. That will definitely take advantage. And that, I mean, but you know who else I blame? I'm going to say it. People's friends. I blame other people's friends. Yeah, girl, you can sing. And you know she can't sing. Like, I had a girlfriend. Well, you know, there's a lot of truth to that, you know, and what's funny is I get asked, because of my positioning, and people know me as a specialist or an authority or expert, they'll ask me to be on different panels and things like this. And it's real hard to tell somebody no or this or that. And but at least when you're in front of a group of professionals, they will give you a true assessment. They're not all like Simon Cowell that may give it to you harshly. You know, a lot of people try to present it properly, but at least you get a true read. You know, family and friends, while they may be good for support, you know, their opinions are jaded, they're skewed, and performing or doing anything for family and friends is far different than doing it for a paid client or a paid audience. You know, the level of expectation is different. And, you know, I get some performers that just want to do this part-time. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's one of the greatest part-time opportunities there are. I mean, where else can you make $50 or $100 an hour part-time, you know?
Right.
But in their mind, there's a mentality that exists of, oh, well, I only do this on the side, or I only do this part-time, as if to imply, so I don't have to be as good as the guy that does it full-time, or, you know, the professional, whoever the big name is. And the reality is anytime you're taking people's money for something,
you have to be,
whether you like it or not, you're being considered a professional. You know?
Right. That mentality cracks me up. But I blame other. I had a girlfriend in college who was like 6'2" and absolutely beautiful, who modeled because she was 6'2" and absolutely beautiful. And which typically happens with women who are 6'2" and absolutely beautiful. So it just happens with those women. And she used to tell me that she thought I could model as I was looking up at her when we were walking through the halls, having conversations. And I used to say to her, you know, I'm 5'2". I could be half a model, maybe. You know, I'm like, I appreciate your sympathy for the Oompa Loompas of the world, but I don't think that is the career for me.
Well, you know, I think that's the other thing that the book, the Entertainment Career and Business Opportunity Directory, kind of touches on too, is a lot of people don't know what all things entail. They think of like the surface perception. In other words, like modeling, for example. You have to be tall and thin and, you know, gorgeous. And when we think of a model, especially nowadays, since the 80s, of the era of supermodels, that's what we tend to think of.
Right.
But in reality, there are so many other areas in modeling, lifestyle modeling, plus-size modeling, sports model. There's so many different areas, trade show and convention modeling, that it's entirely different, that it all isn't that one stereotype.
Now they are taking regular people, from what I understand. Back then in the 80s, it was all about like the supermodel. I was in college in the 80s. Don't date me, anybody out there. Don't. But yeah, that was the 80s. But actually, the show is coming to a close. It's 5:58. But I really enjoyed this conversation. I hope you'll come back.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I hope the audience enjoyed this. Got away from serious town for at least an hour, and a little bit of the intensity for an hour, and got some good information. I appreciate it, Robin. And like I said,
thank you for having me. And if people want the book, they can go to entertainmentopportunities.com, and it's available there.
Terrific. Anywhere else we can reach you, or is the website good?
The website's the best way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very much. And please do come back soon.
Thank you, Melanie. I'd be glad to. Have a great day.
You too. You're listening to Money Talk with Melanie. This is your business diva, Melanie Collette. Remember, I want to thank everybody for being here. Everybody in Facey, everybody on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. Remember, all of this is very important because, after all, it's your money.